Hey megaloungeopal, this is Black Adam. This video is for Karmabound and Tealness28. They requested to see my watch collection a little while ago, and after doing the Jump Street photo shoot with my dog, he actually got pretty bad, his back legs, and he has lower back problems, so he has trouble walking. I've been taking him to the vet for some time now, and I've put him on glucosamine, not what the vet suggested, as every doctor does ever. They just keep saying, oh, you take a bunch of pills and you'll feel better. Well, that's true. You'll feel better because you don't feel the pain, but there's still an issue going on with the legs. So I kind of had to dive in there and figure out that because the ligaments, he's losing the juice from his joints. Um, I started giving him a high dosage of glucosamine, and he's actually up and walking around. Not as much, but it's better than before. So I've been kind of focusing on my dog for a little while, and because right off the bat, this guy ended up saying, well, you can put the animal through pain or you can just put him to sleep. And that didn't sit very well with me. So you can kind of imagine what my reaction was. But anyway, I don't have all of my watches here. I think I'm down by four. So you'll just have to take my word for it that I do own it. Three of them are Casios. One of them is a Seiko. So I've got a Seiko. The model is an SRP 551. It's a blue automatic. It's actually on its way. I just bought it yesterday, so I'm waiting for delivery. And the other three are Casios. So they're all G-Shocks. One is the G-Shock 9300, known as the Mudman. The other one is the G-Shock 9400, known as the Rangeman. And the other one is the G-Shock GWN 1000B. That's the blue one. I really love that thing. I wish it was here for you guys, but it's not. But we'll go with what I do have. So let's start off with this. So these are my little watch cases. And wow, that got dark. There we go. Let's try that. I was trying to find the proper sunlight, and this is like the only place where I ever get sunlight. In the valley, we've had really bad thunderstorms. We've got the drought going on, and it's just cloudy out of nowhere. I don't know why, but it's looking good for now, so we'll just go with that. What to start with? I'd like to start off with probably my line of Tag Heuer. I think Tag Heuer is probably the more luxurious, more expensive one that I have. So we'll start with this. The one that's inside of here is known as the Tag Heuer Monaco series, and that's the square type. And to me, square was always unusual, something I really liked. But there's a reason why I had to buy the Monaco 69. In 2006, I was exactly 16 years old. I saw this watch for the first time, and I just fell in love with it. 16-year-old me found out the price of this watch, and I said, yeah, no, we're not paying that much. But then, 24-year-old me ended up buying this just last December 24th. So Christmas Eve, I bought this as a present for myself. I've got my dream watch. I love it. So we'll start off with this here. Oh no, I can't get it out. That's what she said, but I can't. Just kidding. All right. So this is a mechanical watch. It's a hand wind watch, and once it focuses in, there we go. See that little seconds hand down there? See how smoothly it's moving? That's how you can tell if a watch is a mechanical, either hand wind or automatic, where it'll spin on the back, and I'll show you what that looks like. I've got an open back watch. It's actually on my wrist. So for hand wind, you turn the crown, and it works. Now, one reason why I really fell in love with the Monaco 69 is that any other Monaco that you see, this is all what you get. With this one, you get to do something a little bit special. Mechanical on one side, digital chronograph on the other, with my fingerprint that dissolves right away. See? And you can just, you can turn that off too. It's got a 6-second light in there as well too. And I thought this was a really cool idea. And as it turns out, this is something that Tag did not make a whole lot of. This was actually a concept watch that was shown in I think 2003. So it was not exactly a mass-produced watch, which kind of made it more special to me because I thought it was unusual, much like yours truly. So I ended up getting that. I picked it out as my favorite. And I have to say, as a former Rolex owner, Rolex is all hype, but there's really nothing good about it. It's like saying, for example, I actually am just under 6'5". I'm like 6'4.5". I can buy a Lamborghini and say, hey, look at me, I've got a Lamborghini, but I know that it's uncomfortable. I can't fit in it properly. Whereas, for example, in a Mustang or something, right? I do have a Mustang. I can fit in it properly and use it every single day. Well, this was something that I can, work with every single day. And I really liked it. So I've always had a, curiosity for Tag Heuer watches, and it's not my only Tag Heuer watch. It's my only Monaco watch, and I do really, really love it a lot. And let's keep that line of tag floating along. This is the Tag Heuer Carrera, as in exactly how the Porsche Carrera is spelled. That's how this one's spelled. So I'm going to put this down for a second and get the box open. You guys get to look at whatever that is. And I always thought the Carrera was, I thought it was really cool. I liked it. I love the way they present the boxes. This is like, just like cherry wood or something. And you pop this little thing. No, warranty card. The cleaning cloth is like some kind of a velvet. And here she is. Now this is an automatic. As you can see, it's not moving because, well, it needs to be winded up. So spin it around. And camera focuses in sometime soon. There we go. It's not scratches, it's actually dust because I'm standing in a kind of a dusty corner. But yeah, that's an automatic Carrera. Really like this thing. I think it's really beautiful. It's not exactly a silver face. It's kind of like a cross between a tan and silver. And I love the effect that it gives, that it's flat, but it's not. Look at the size of that glass. That crystal sapphire is really up there. So you can't exactly tell, for example, like on my Seiko, you can tell it's flat. And it definitely looks flat. So yeah, and there's like the original tags and stuff inside of it. And I tend to keep them in here. I'll take them out to wipe it down like once a week and stuff. I'll wind it up and make sure that it's moving and everything. So I do regular maintenance on my watches as best as I can and when I can, of course. All right, we'll box that up in a second. And I forgot to put the warranty information inside. This one might be easier to go to next. So, yep, block the sun just like that. So let's start off with this gold one. That's, I think that's 18 karat gold. It's actually not my watch. This belonged to my father. This is his original Seiko. He got this in, I think it was 1993 or 1994. That's how long he's had this. And he's even worn it recently as well, too. By recently, I don't mean 2015 recently. Probably more closer to towards the end of 2014, probably like around October 2014 or so. It's a 38 millimeter watch, as you can see, compared to a 42, or I think it's a 44 next to it. It's a 42 without the crown, 44 with the crown, or with the extension anyway. And back then, men's watches used to be a little bit smaller, and this has such a hard time focusing. There you go. And along with that, this was his Casio. It's a quartz watch. That Seiko was a quartz as well too. And as you can see, the battery is just flat. That's why it's not running. The same thing for this guy here. It might be easier if I just did that. Yeah, that's better. So I thought it was really cool that he had this, and he always told me, like, having a Seiko is like, it's gone through hell and back. He's like, I practically raised you, and I always had this thing on my wrist. And well, he's right, because I was about 3 years old at the time. And he said, when you get a Seiko, you just can't go wrong with it. And I think that's very true. It's probably why I have that on my wrist. So really cool to have this. I'm glad my dad was able to hang on to this for as long as he did. I tried to, I mean, not that he ever kept it in a bad condition, but I tried to polish it up as best as I can. You can probably see some scratches around it. Um, but after being used for like 21 years, I think it deserves a little R&R. So that's why it's sitting in here and it's looking really pretty. Moving on. This is the Casio Edifice. This is a solar powered watch. It has UTC time, has multiple time zones as you can read all the cities around it. And I do make use of the chronograph function. A lot of people don't, they just buy it because it looks cool. I actually do. Like, I've got the stopwatch in there that I use if I'm going to lunch or something at work, and I can just, hit that and know how far I'm in. Um, I like the fact that the readout actually gives you, like, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday reading there as well. You get your date down there, so you got your day and date. And I think overall it just looks really, really nice. And it's solar powered, so I never have to worry about the battery, which is great. Moving on, I'm a big fan of the color blue, in case that wasn't apparent. Some of you guys have seen my car before, my Mustang before, and some other items that I own or wear. For example, my famous Ferraza. I love this thing. So naturally, I had to buy a blue Submariner. Now, I've had a Submariner watch before. That was my Rolex. It was a gold with a green bezel, and it had like a light green dial on the inside. And I really wanted a blue one. If they had a blue one the way I wanted it, I would have taken it. But unfortunately, it had too much gold in it, like that kind of gold. I'm not a big fan of gold too much like that. My dad was, not me. I prefer silver or, black. So I found out that Tag has a Submariner, and I ended up buying this one. And my camera's probably not doing very good justice, but this thing is just beautiful under the sunlight. I just think it looks amazing. I've worn it many, many times, and I really, really like this. Yeah, it's a Swiss quartz. Unfortunately, they didn't have an automatic. My only option with automatic was to have the Aqua Racer, which is a nice watch, and I'd love to own that someday. But I think my Orient spoiled me, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But even this, I think this is great. This is amazing. I love it. I wear it from time to time. The shininess on the inside of the dial actually matches the color of my car, which I think is really cool. And so yeah, I just love this thing. That's my dad's old Casio. I don't even know what model number that thing is. It's so scratched up I can't even see the inside of it too well. This is the Ambassador Meister. It's got an actual carbon fiber insert, and apparently the time is off by an hour. I think I've only worn this a few times. It's actually pretty big. That's what she said, but it is. As you can see, it's really thick. So it's kind of bulky to wear every now and then. I mean, it's great when you wear it, it looks nice, but not something you can live with on a day-to-day basis. So it tends to spend a bit more time in here. I don't regret buying this. Well, definitely not this watch or any of these that are in here, but you got to find a place to keep all of them, right? All right, we've taken a look at that. Now for the finale. Nothing special. I have another watch case somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I know what's in it. I just don't know where it is, which can be kind of a scary thought, to be honest with you. Anyone that's in California, you've probably heard of Tourneau if you've been to San Francisco. So that's the place where I actually bought my Monaco 69 for almost Tourneau. This is the actual original case for that Monaco, but this case fits that Monaco better so much more that I just put the Carrera in here because I was an idiot and I just kind of tossed a box for the Carrera, so there's that. But I think in the end it all just kind of worked out. Let's start off with this. Probably the worst watch I've ever owned, and by far the worst brand in existence, is definitely Citizen. This thing is uncomfortable. It's weird. It only fits and feels good the first time you ever wear it, and after that, everything is just it's just wrong. It doesn't feel like it belongs there. And the worst part is, it actually has a type of belt. Unlike this, that can like snag on your arm here. This doesn't, but it just feels weird. I don't know how to explain it. And the other thing is, this is an eco drive based watch. meaning this doesn't just require sunlight to be charged. You can use, just normal lights like that. Focus, focus, there you go, like that. And which is amazing because you don't have to worry about, oh, I gotta actually put it in the sun. But I don't know, I don't like that thing. And if I had to regret buying a watch, it would probably be that one. It's such a Monaco ripoff too. I mean, look at that. It's got the chronograph on the inside, just like the Monaco Steve McQueen does. Buttons on the side the same way too. Diesel. I'm not saying I'm disappointed in buying this watch. I'm just saying it's false advertising. Let me put it to you this way, okay? Here's sunlight hitting it, right? And I know after I say that, it's not even going to show. Yeah, let's see. See, the lume is actually fake. Well, it's there, but it's not going to light up. Unlike, for example, something like that. You see the green? I don't even have to go all the way into the shadows. You can see that thing just glowing after hitting the sunlight. So I was disappointed to find that out after I bought this diesel. But I never had a black watch, so I kind of took it to where, like, during the daytime. Later on, I ended up getting this Casio Edifice. Why does that look familiar, right? It's the same exact model as that silver one we saw here. Wow, that's dusty. Except for this is black with what I think is a little better strap. It doesn't catch on arm hair and stuff. So I bought this, and this just kind of sits there now and doesn't do much. All right, next. I had this Geneva back in, I think, 2001 or 2. And look at the size. This thing is huge. That's, okay, like these guys are like 42, 44 millimeters. This thing is just monster compared to them. It's a quartz, so the battery's just dead. I haven't replaced it. That's why it's not working. I just can't seem to get rid of it because it's like one of the first watches I've ever owned, sorta, that I can remember. So I just thought, why not just, hang on to it. I'm kind of jumping around here, I know. This is one of my G-Shocks. And if I focus in on it properly, it's actually a negative display, so it's actually black on black. But if I hit the button, you can kind of sort of see the numbers there. It's actually green numbering is what it is. And in case you're wondering, yeah, that's a bull bar. It actually comes like that. This is the G-Shock GD400, which I think is really great. I mean, G-Shocks are tough to begin with. When you put a bull bar on them, I mean, that's like an H1 Hummer with a reinforced chassis. You just don't need to have that. That's overkill. I mean, it can run through a tank. And that's what I feel like this watch is too. I really like that thing a lot. Over here, this is a form of a Casio as well too. It's also an Edifice. This is quartz. And this might look a little familiar, right? It looks kind of like the Monaco. Well, when I don't want to wear my expensive watch, I kind of wear this because people have had trouble telling them apart just by looking at them with their bare eyes. So I kind of, just put this on, but I never pass it on as a Monaco. And someone's like, hey, what is that thing? I'm like, yeah, look, it's a Casio. It's an Edifice. So it's a nice simple watch. This is a Nike Oregon. It was just a digital watch that I purchased. It looks an awful lot like the other side of my Monaco, except for the fact that it's got a Nike logo over there. And this one is my daily driver. This is the beater tag wear submariner. So you saw my other blue one, the pretty blue one. As you can see, this one's got a lot of aging on it because I do wear this on a daily basis, and I'll wear it anywhere, wherever, and it'll take quite the beating. So I don't know, it's not that I don't care for it, it's just that this is my beater in terms of, hey, I can wear a tag Heuer on a daily basis. Like I've got a coworker who's got a Rolex that he just wears on a daily basis, and he knows it's going to take a little bit of punishment, and he's okay with that. So I'm the same way with this. And lastly, this is an Orient Blu-ray. I really love this thing. It's an automatic, so let me wind it up. You can see that smooth flowing motion with my fingerprints. Really love that blue dial on the inside. It's got a ceramic bezel, which is really, really cool. So it won't fade like, like this one did. I'm apparently getting a phone call. Telemarketers. It's like they know I'm making a video. No! Quiet! I said quiet! It won't shut up. I really love this thing. I wanted to buy an Omega Seamaster. If you've seen this watch before, if it looks familiar, you probably saw it in James Bond. It's like one of the Bond watches. Except for the Omega doesn't have the date. It's actually just a date. And they generally tend to be quartz. That's the creepiest message anyone's ever left. It's just a bunch of breathing noises. I don't get scared by much, but that definitely creeps me out. And lastly, the watch I'm wearing on my wrist. Now, let me show you guys something. Take a look at how the seconds hand on this is moving. It goes tick, tick, tick. Look at this one. It doesn't tick. So for those of you who already know what mechanical versus quartz is, I don't have to explain anything. For those of you who don't know, this is operated by a tiny little circuit board and a frequency that shoots out every second and causes that hand to move that way. This, on the other hand, is mechanical. What does mechanical look like? I'm going one-handed here. This might be a better shot. Oh wow, that looks a lot better than I expected. Okay. Alright, do you see that thing going back and forth that I just can't point to right now, right above that, my finger line right there? So this is mechanical. You see that rotor spinning inside of there? That's what causes it to wind up. So if I shake it around, there you go. Sometimes you can even hear it. I don't know where the microphone to this phone is, so I'm just going to assume it's here, and I'm going to go quiet for a second. So that wasn't the ticks, if you were able to hear it. That's not the tick-tick that these watches are making here. That tick-tick-tick consistently that you're hearing, those are 5 ticks per second, and that's how a well-calibrated automatic watch will sound like. The movement that you saw back in here, all of this complicated jargon that's back here, that's what all mechanical watches have on the inside. This is an automatic. So that's why it's got that rotor that spins in the back right there, this guy. A hand wind will not have that because you, well, use the crown, which is this thing over here, right there, to wind it up with. Why is this called a crown? Well, here's how a watch goes on your wrist. If you turn it this way, pretend this is a head. On top of the head sits the crown. Aren't you glad we went through that? That's why it's called a crown. And I just dropped one of my earrings. Yeah, I do wear earrings. I wear these big ones. To me, a mechanical will always have, heart and soul. I would second quartz. Digital is just kind of something that's just there. But I just love the way, every watchmaker has something that they do in-house. This Orient is actually owned by Seiko, or well, recently owned by Seiko. By recently, I mean like 30 years ago. And what's cool is like Orient still has their own made in-house movement. So not every mechanical watch, while they may look like this on the inside, it's not like that on the inside. Well, 100% anyway. Their movements are all specific per brand, per manufacturer, which I think is really, really cool. Seiko themselves have been around since 1880. Tag Heuer has been around since 1860, which I think is pretty darn impressive. Orient since 1901. In fact, Rolex came after all these guys. Tourneau, not only do they sell watches, these dudes here, but they also make their own brand of watches. And they've been around longer than Rolex as well, too. It's just that, Rolex just became one of those name things where it just starts to sell after a while. So I kind of got into this. If anyone's looking to ever buy a watch or anything, I can't stress it enough that I think any watch enthusiast or first-time buyer should definitely look into a Seiko. You will like what you own. like the Men's Warehouse, I guess I guarantee it. But in reality, you will love what you own. I mean, I've taken this thing into the shower with me. I mean, I can wash dishes with this. I can even go running with this. It's great against sweat and everything. And remember, all of these watches are water resistant. Now, G-Shocks, they always claim that they can go all the way down to, 660 feet or otherwise 200 meters or AKA 20 bar. Or it'll just say 2 bar or something like that. That is true, but remember, there's a difference between resistant versus proof. These are all water resistant. They're not waterproof. They can get water inside of them. But if you're washing your car and you're wearing this and you dunk your entire arm inside and bring it out, it's not going to hurt it. How do I know? I've done that. Not the best thing to do, but I think it's kind of cool that you can get away with things like that. I would like to go on record to say, in my opinion, I think Seiko is by far the greatest watchmaker of all time. This is coming from someone who owns tags that are way, way more expensive. I'm not going to talk about the prices. I don't want to sound like a snob, but just trust me, it's way more expensive than this thing. This was like 150 or 170 bucks. I don't know. And I like the fact that Seiko can make watches such as the Grand Seiko, which can range, the equivalent prices of a Tag Heuer or a Rolex or Vacheron or something like that, or an IWC, to watches that are in the same range as these two here, like a G-Shock. Like this was like $200, and this guy here was like around that 150 whatever range, something like that. And I think it's amazing because they said, hey, unlike Rolex and Tag, let's go ahead and make something for people who want a luxury watch and make it high-end, and let's also cater to the mid-range group, and let's also cater to the low-range group. And there are some Seiko 5s that you can pick up for like $60 online, brand new, and there's nothing wrong with them. They have perfect movement. So I would suggest taking a look at a Seiko. I'm not a Seiko spokesperson. I mean, my heart and soul pretty much belongs to Tag, but I think I could definitely make room for one of these guys as well too. And that being said, once I have my other watches with me and my other Seiko comes in, I think I'll just take pictures and post them up. Probably in megaloungeopal as well. So there you are, TLS 28 and Karma Bound. And other than that, hi Grapo, we miss you. All right, guys, I will see you later. Thank you very much. And this has been a long video. Bye now.